Okay, y'all, it's time to go over the page in my Bible from 1822 that reads Palestine. If you're new here, my name's Sandra. I love old books. Like I said, this is my Bible from 1822. As you can see, it's absolutely huge. It has the Apocrypha files. And I noticed that there was this page that talks about, it doesn't say anything like, is it demons? It says Palestine. So I thought, let's go ahead and go over it, especially since so many of the evil demons like to swear that Palestine never even existed. Yet here it is, this book that's over 200 years old has a whole page dedicated to it. Palestine is bounded on the north by Mount Libanus, or Lebanon, which separates it from that part of Syria, anciently called Phoenicia. On the east by Mount Hermon, which divides it from Arabia Deserta. On the south by Arabia Petrea, and on the west by the Mediterranean Sea, or Sea of Syria. This country received the name of Palestine from the Philistines, who dwelt on the sea coast. It was called Judea, from Judah, and it is termed the Holy Land, being the country where Jesus Christ was born, preached his holy doctrines, confirmed them by miracles, and laid down his life for mankind. Palestine is about 185 miles in length and generally 80 in breadth. It is situated between 31 degrees and 33 degrees, 40-minute north latitude. You don't fucking say. The climate of Palestine is, during a great part of the year, very hot. The easterly winds are usually dry, though there are sometimes tempestuous, and those which are westerly are attended with rain. The heat here might be expected to be excessive, yet Mount Libanus, from its uncommon height, is covered all winter with snow. The first rains, as they are called, generally fall about the beginning of November, and the latter rains in the month of April. In the country round Jerusalem, if a moderate quantity of snow falls in the beginning of February, and the brooks soon after overflow their banks, it is thought to forebode a fruitful year, and the inhabitants make rejoicings upon this occasion, as the Egyptians do with respect to the Nile. This country is seldom refreshed with rain during the summer season. The rocks of Judea are, in many places, covered with a soft, chalky substance, in which is enclosed a great variety of shells and corals. The greatest part of the mountains of Carmel and those of Jerusalem and Bethlehem are overspread with a white, chalky stratum. In Mount Carmel are gathered many stones, which, being in the form of olives, melons, peaches, and other fruit, are imposed upon pilgrims, not only as those fruits petrified, but as antidotes against several diseases. With respect to the rivers of the country, the Jordan, called by the Arabs Scaria, is not only the most considerable, but next to the Nile is the largest, either in the Levant or in Barbary. It has its source at the bottom of Mount Libanus, or Lebanon, and is formed from the waters of two fountains, which are about a mile distance from each other. One of them lies to the east and is called Jor. The other, which is exposed to the south, is named Dan. The confluence of the two streams is found near the ancient city of Caesarea Philippi, which is at present only a village and called Beline. The river takes a course between the east and south, and after running 7 miles, falls into Lake Samichon, or Mathon, at present called Helitpanias, about 6 miles in length from north to south, and nearly 4 in breadth from east to west. The Jordan issues from this lake and flows through a great plain, passing under a stone bridge called Jacob's Bridge, consisting of 3 arches well constructed. The river then continues its course as far as the lake of Tiberias, near the ancient cities of Chorazin and Capernaum, where it mixes with its waters. When it issues from this lake, which is about 18 miles in length and 8 in breadth, it takes the name of Jordan Major, dividing Perea from Samaria, the plains of the Moabites from Judea, and receiving the waters of the Dibon, the Jazer, the Jacob, and the Kerith, after being augmented by these streams in a course of 65 miles from the lake of Tiberias, or Sea of Galilee. It discharges itself into the Dead Sea. The Jordan, in the rainy seasons, overflows its bank to a distance of more than 4 miles, and on account of inequality of the ground, forms 2 or 3 channels. Its current is extremely rapid and the water always muddy, but when taken from the river and put into any kind of vessel, it very soon clarifies and is sweet. The Dead Sea is a name of moderate date. The ancients called it the Lake of Asphaltites, the Sea of Sodom, the Salt Sea, the Lake of Sirbon. The Arabs named it Bahret Lut, that is, Sea of Lot. It is about 50 miles in length and 10 in breadth. The lofty mountains of the country of the Moabites are on the eastern side and discharge into it the waters of Arnon and the Jarrett. On the west and south, it is bounded by very high mountains also. It is likewise on the west that the brook Cedron, which rises at Jerusalem, empties into this sea. We are informed that this vast lake was covered formerly with fruit trees and abundant crops, and that from the bosom of the earth, now buried under its waters, arose a superb city, Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Segor. No plants of any kind grow in this lake. The bottom of it is black, thick, and foetid. Branches of trees which fall therein become petrified in a little time. The Dead Sea produces a kind of bitumen which may be found floating on the surface like large lumps of earth. This bitumen is a sulfurous substance mixed with salt. It is as brittle as black pitch. It's combustible and exhales while burning a strong and penetrating smell. The ancient Arabs used it for smearing and embalming their dead to preserve them from perishing. The mountains near the sea produce a kind of black stone, which, when polished, has a beautiful luster. Acre, or Acre, now called St. John de Acre, and which the Arabs call Akko or Akka, is one of the places from which the Israelites could not expel the ancient Canaanites, and was formerly reckoned among the ancient cities of Phoenicia. It is also known by the name of Ptolemais. The situation is adventurous. On the north and east, it is encompassed by a fertile plain. On the west, it is washed by the Mediterranean. On the south, by a large bay, which extends from the city as far as Mount Carmel. It contains little more than a few cottages and heaps of ruins. The resident of the Basha of the province is at this place. To the south of Acre is Sebasta, the ancient Samaria, the capital of 10 tribes after their revolt from the house of David. It is seated on a long mount which rises in a fruitful valley and is now converted into gardens. A little further to the south is Naplosa, the ancient Shechem, which stands in a narrow valley between Mount Ebal on the north and Gerizim on the south. At a small distance from Naplosa is Jacob's Well, famous for Christ's conference with the woman of Samaria. Jerusalem is encompassed with hills, so that the city seems as if situated in an amphitheater. There are few remains of the city as it appeared in Christ's time, the situation being changed. For Mount Sion, the highest part of ancient Jerusalem, is almost excluded, while the places adjoining to Mount Calvary are nearly in the center. This city, which is about 3 miles in circumference, is situated on a rocky mountain, on all sides of which are steep ascents except towards the north. The walls are not strong, nor have they any bastions. The city has 6 gates. There are supposed to be about 12 or 14,000 inhabitants in Jerusalem. Jassa, the ancient Joppa, is the port where the pilgrims disembark. They generally arrive in November and repair without delay to Jerusalem. Okay, come back for part 2.